One of the classic solitaire games from the glory days of Avalon Hill, Raid on St. Nazaire. What follows is the naval phase based on the turn sequence published in the General, Volume 24, Issue Number 4, followed by the land phase. This is how I learned to play the game oh so many years ago. Place the German guns and searchlights on the board in their assigned positions. Sort the Germans into 6 groups numbered 1 through 5 and place them into separate cups. Place all British boats in the approach zone. The commandos start the game on the boats. The restoration phase restores any German searchlight or gun that is out of action. Roll 2 dice and check to see if the unit was either restored or disrupted. The illumination phase starts with a light at 412 illuminating the approach zone. Same as the light in 342, but its beam counter is not placed until the covering fire phase. On turn 2, roll 1 die to determine which sections are illuminated. If less than 6 boats or commando counters are in a zone, it is possible that the light will not be effective. The pre-designated harbor defense fire phase strikes targets too big to miss, starting with a Campbelltown until it is sunk or abandoned. Then, any boats on fire, unless they are in Zone Z or in the open sea, mark the appropriate results. Harbor defense fire starts with players rolling 3 dice to determine hits on the boats. This phase continues until 12 hits are made during this phase or a single miss occurs. The covering fire phase is the British shooting back. They shoot until a miss occurs, or 6 shots have successfully struck. The dockside defensive fire phase applies to the guns in the harbor. Each gun may fire once in one zone per turn. The gun is then flipped for the remainder of the turn. At this point, open sea encounters is next. Whenever boats are returning to England through the open sea, a die roll must be made on the open sea encounter table. The naval move phase is next. Boats can only have 2 movement factors on the first turn, but afterwards can move up to full speed. Remember that it takes 1 movement factor to enter a sea zone and 1 to enter a landing zone. Torpedo attacks may now commence. You can attack targets in any order. Just remember that the wind has delayed action torpedoes, so they will not be resolved until the end of the game. Now, you may clear away all evade, turn away, and sunk markers from all British boats. Boats that were sunk are removed from the game log. On turn 10, you may execute the German ship withdrawal. German ships moored around the basin may move into their U-boat pens. Rule 13.2 covers this aspect of the game. You are now ready to proceed to the land phase. The land phase begins with the unloading or loading of commandos from boats with passengers. Just place the commando counter on the area and mark off the same number of passengers from the boat boxes. Roll a die and apply the modifier to see how many Germans enter this turn. Draw that number from a cup that holds the available forces. A 12 will automatically cause an armored car to enter. Once the cup is empty, move to the next cup. Roll 3 dice to determine the location for each German unit. Areas in which it's impossible to place a German unit means that they stay in the cup. If the area is a disrupted or out-of-action searchlight, then that unit is restored, which reduces the strength of the German unit. Commandos move along the solid lines between areas. The number of lines indicates the cost in terms of movement factors that must be spent. This includes 1 movement factor for entering or leaving an area with a German unit. Roll a die to determine the move number for all German units, depending on their current strength. Armored cars always have a move factor of 4. Basically, the German units will move towards the nearest commando unit. German units cannot leave areas with commandos and units on ships, and U-boat pens are restricted. Commandos can fire at German units in the same area or in adjacent areas. Roll a die to hit, and another to track what strength points may be lost. Grenade attacks only resolve against units, guns, lights, and armored cars in the same area. It's the only way a commando can destroy an armored car. Surviving German units fire back according to Rule 11.31. Any British losses are recorded on the game log. If a commando unit is reduced to 3 strength or less, flip the counter to its 2 MF side. Guns and flak towers that have yet to fire may do so during this phase. They must fire at units in areas which are color-coded with the guns. Check commando unit for ammo loss for each hit. Assault units may return long-range fire. They can shoot at any gun that can hit the area the British unit is in. A die roll of 1 is a hit. For targets that award victory points, the demolition charges must be prepared first. Roll a die with the appropriate modifiers and place the counter if successful. Mark off the ammo box on the game log. If the German unit is in the same area as the prepared charges with no commandos present, they may roll a die with modifiers to remove the charges. Prepared charges that are in the same area as a commando unit may be set off. Roll a die with the appropriate modifiers. A 1, 2, or 3 results in a destroyed target, a 4 only damages it, and a 5 or 6 is no effect. If 2 German units are in the same area, combine them with the replacement counter. Now you can move the turn marker forward. When all commandos have been eliminated, evacuated, or escaped, you can now resolve the Campbelltown. If the ship collided at 2 MF and was successfully scuttled, a die roll of 1 to 5 will destroy the southern caisson. A 6 means failure. If the wind made a torpedo attack, resolve with a single die on the torpedo attack table. Now, count up the victory points from targets that were destroyed, plus half value for targets that were damaged, and any points for the raiders reaching England. If you reach 70 victory points, you succeed. If not, better luck next time.